Okay guys, so we talked a lot about that trig stuff, okay, and the unit circle, and I'm hoping that that all makes sense to you. We're going to be practicing problems on that stuff in class. So I'm not going to get too extensive in this video because in this part, it's really a lot of fiddling. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by fiddling. It's a matter of taking problems that they give you and rewriting and simplifying them. So for instance, if they gave us 1 over cosecant of theta, and they wanted the directions is to simplify. The thing that you guys will be frustrated with this is there's no one way for me to tell you to do this. There's no way for me to say, okay, so these are the exact steps that you need to do to simplify these problems. There's a variety of ways, and that's why I call it fiddling, because you're going to kind of fiddle with them until you get something that's written in simpler form, okay? And you're going to be using formulas that you find on the inside cover of your book or the back cover of your book, or they're also in paper that I gave you guys, paper copies. And it's a matter of taking them and fiddling around with them. And I'll do a couple examples up here, okay? Just so I said I was going to do a second video, here we go, all right? So, if I had 1 over cosecant of theta, well, we have to know that cosecant is 1 over sine. So I could write that as 1 over sine of theta. Now, dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I could make this 1 times sine theta, and I get sine theta. Okay, and you say, well, how did you know to do that? Just fiddle with it, okay? You just fiddle with it. Let's say I had this. Cosine of theta over cotangent of theta. Well, anytime they give you the tangent, cotangent, secant, or cosecant, I like to write those in terms of sines and cosines. That's one way that I look at these. So this would be cosine of theta over cosine of theta over sine of theta. And again, dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So this is equal to cosine of theta times sine of theta over cosine of theta. And then my cosine of theta is canceled, and again, my answer is sine theta. Okay? What if I had this? Tangent of theta times cosine of theta. Well, what did I tell you to do? When you have things written as tangent, cosecant, secant like that, I take that and I write that as sines and cosines. So I'm going to make this sine of theta over cosine of theta times cosine of theta, and then my cosine of thetas cancel. Okay, so you'll see some like that. Then you'll have something like this. That's kind of the same thing. So some of these involve the Pythagorean identities. This is cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta plus cotangent squared theta. So again, using the formulas in the front and the back of your book, you take these and look to simplify. You look to try to find things that work. You'll always have your notes. Okay, you'll always have your notes for these things. So we look at this, and in the back, if you look at there, I think it's called the Pythagorean identities. The cosine squared plus sine squared theta is equal to 1. So we get 1 plus cotangent squared theta. And I think if you look at those formulas, again, you would find that 1 plus cotangent squared theta is equal to cosecant squared. I'm not going to ask you to memorize those. I'm not. Okay? you're always going to be able to use your property sheets for that. And I really think in college you will too. I don't think they're going to make you memorize all that stuff, okay? So this is a really short video, okay? But it's how we're going to do some of the simplifying, okay? And again, it doesn't make sense for me to do a bunch of these because there's no necessary pattern to them. We're going to practice them in class. I've got multiple sheets. I expect that for some of you, you haven't seen it in a while, so we'll spend time doing that. All right? Hope it made sense.